My name is Gabe Lewis, and I am one of two underwater fire controlmen. I fell, I was crippled, I went from the sub-base hospital to the hospital in Allen Park, Michigan. They put me on the TDRL, with temporary disability retirement list. I stayed on that for almost 5 years. They permanently retired me. I had 4 children at the time. So I went from, like I say, the sub-base hospital to Allen Park. Stayed on a TDRL for 5 years. They said, okay, you can't jump tall buildings as a single bond. We're going to retire you. So they retired me at 70% disability, and I tried to go back to teaching in Detroit. They wanted 10 years back dues because I didn't leave after my first enlistment. And that's what the rules are. You got 90 days to go back to work. It doesn't matter what the Soldier Sailors Relief Act were. So anyway, I went to writing textbooks. A opportunity came up for the West Broomfield, Michigan Public Safety Department. I took my short braces. I had been wearing stirrups in my shoes. I had a set of short braces. I wound them up as tight as I could. I passed the physical. I scored 110 on the exam, and they did not find out I wore braces until after I'd already been there for 6 months. They caught me one night when I was sleeping. When I always sleep in my braces, and you just have your pants on, you jump into them. But so I did that. Opportunity came to become a Fed. I took it. Another boring job in a place called Moline, East Moline, Bettendorf, and Davenport. 14 guys in the unit working for the feds. You got a special agent in charge, an assistant, and they have secretaries, and you're just bored. So I did that, and enough was enough. The wife wouldn't move, the original wife wouldn't move. We divorced. I kept all 4 children. I became a single parent custodial father with 4 little boys. So I did that. I moved up to a town. I lived in a place called West Bloomfield, Michigan. Was very hoity-toity, all the rest of that. You know, you go to work in a suit and you come home in a suit, and then you go to cocktail parties. I'm not into that kind of thing. Never was. So we moved into a little farm town called Lapeer, and they had 49-15 school. Okay? Kids would go to school for 49 days and be off 3 weeks. They wouldn't unlearn. It was easier for babysitting, easier to work. I registered with the local VA office. I didn't like the way the guys ran that. So I took his job. I had a 4-man World War I, World War II, Korea and Vietnam civilian appointing committee. I worked for the county of Lapeer for the VA counseling center, family counseling center. I went back to school. Okay? That was my trick. Whenever I didn't know anything, I went back to school. So I went back to school. I learned gerontology. I learned psychoanalysis. I learned, a lot of things. I counseled veterans and their families, POWs. I had 23 people working for me, all the rest of that kind of stuff. And I did that until, I think I did it for about 10 years until I married Pam. And that's about how long you can take in that kind of a job. You know, when you're doing psychoanalysis and all the rest of it, it really takes it out of you. You're like a sponge. So I loved it. It was a great job. I used to have a sign above my desk at the VA. Was any damn good, I wouldn't have a job. Okay, and I felt that way, and I was not shy about saying it. I'm not shy about saying it now. I never took any money from the VA. Don't want any money from the VA. My retirement comes from the Navy. It's based on the parts that I've lost. I have in total artificial knee, total artificial hip, 2 artificial shoulders, an artificial wrist, an artificial thumb. All the bones in my right hand are gone. 3 cents in my heart, and a bypass and a cage. Okay, and you know, except for the parts, I don't regret any of it. But I managed to raise my kids. They're all college educated. I stayed single for almost 2 decades. I married my wife, who I sent to med school when she was 45, and we moved to Montana, and she went to North Dakota State University under the Rural Physicians Enhancement Act, or whatever the heck it was. And she was an RN before that. She'd been an RN for 20-some years, but she's still working. She just signed a contract to work 3 years for my doctor. I wanted her to retire. She won't do it, but anyway. And that's where we're at today. The kids are all grown. One's in Spain, one's in California, one's in South Carolina, and the other one is in hoity-toityville in Sylvan Lake, Michigan.